Hello and welcome to the 2025 Class C Bob Johnson bracket breakdown here with NBC Watertown. It's been a long year. I'm Tyler Clemons, Connor LaLone. Long year of basketball, finally into the postseason play. The brackets are released, so this is where it all comes down to. This is where the games really, really matter here. Winner go home time. So we're going to break down the bracket here, and we'll kick things off with a big bracket here for Section 3 Class C. We'll start with a 16-17 seed game. Cincinnati is going to be playing host to the 17 seed Morrisville Eaton. Then we have 13 seed Ontech Charter at 8-12. They will host Thousand Islands, who came in at 13-7. Interesting matchup there, Connor, with 13-7 as the record. They have to go on the road. I mean, not even close to the same seeding. They're a 20 seed, a 13 seed at 8-12. That's kind of a crazy gap there.
Yeah, this is something we've talked about a couple of times at different times throughout the year, different times today. The new strength of schedule, or they take into account who you've played, really makes a big difference when you get into these sectional tournaments. Obviously, TI with a great record, 13-7. And like you said, going on the road to a team that's below 500 on the year,
Right.
Simply because they played harder opponents in terms, at least in the eyes of the section. So it makes a big difference when we get to this stage of the year. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we get involved in Beaver River.
Yeah, definitely. And then, looking forward through with Thousand Islands, right? I mean, if you're Frankfort Schuyler, that's a tough matchup because you got to, presumably, if Thousand Islands pulls off that upset, you got to play a team that's 15-7, or you're getting a good team in Ontech Charter coming their way as well. So that's a really tough matchup, being in the 4 seed. You think you're going to have possibly an easy win to kind of propel yourself going in deeper into the postseason run. Moving on here with the bracket, Poland at the 12 seed will be hosting Port Byron. Port Byron coming in at 3-14 on the year. Poland at an even 500 record at 9-9. That game will be tonight at 6 o'clock. The 15 seed Sandy Creek taking on South Louis. They'll be hosting at Sandy Creek High School. Again, that game is tonight at 6. South Louis coming in at 7-10 on the year in the 18 seed. Weedsport will be hosting Alexandria. The Ghosts coming in at 5-14. Weedsport at 13-7. Onondaga will be hosting Dolgeville, the 14 seed against the 9 seed game. That game will be at 5:30 tonight as well. And then to round out the first line of this bracket, West Canada Valley, pretty good program down there, but they're only at 8-11 this year. Will play host to the 22 seed Lafargeville, coming in at an even record at 10-10. That's the first line of this big Section 3 Class C bracket. Connor, take us through the next line here.
Yeah, the winner of Cincinnati and Morrisville Eden will take on Cooperstown, who has that first round bye, undefeated on the year, 19-0 record. So that game will happen next week. After that, it's the 8-9 matchup, Faith Heritage and Beaver River, who we've seen a couple of times this year, and we actually are going to get the chance to talk to Zach Lehman about the Beavers and how they're feeling here coming into this game. It's a tough one, Zach. You had a great year. You're 15-4. And you're the 9 seed. You're going to end up having to go on the road in the first round. I mean, how does that's got to be a little bit demoralizing, right? You have a great year, and this is where you end up. You have to go on the road.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal, but I think it really shows the strength of the C division. 28 teams in one bracket, 5 teams ended up dropping out. But really, if you look at the top end of the schedule, there's definitely an argument for us to be top 8 and, probably did deserve a home game. But I think everybody up there has that argument. So it's just a tough one. And, it's something that we'll deal with and hopefully go on the road and do what we've been doing all season and pull one out on the road, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great point, Zach. And then also with, you're looking at the bracket and you don't want to get, too far ahead of yourself, but, you come away with that win in the first round. Then you have to go on the road and take on an undefeated Cooperstown, which is a team that's been widely tabbed as going to be the front runner to take the section. How does that make you feel having to go on the road for your next game after this to play Cooperstown?
So we went to Cooperstown's Christmas tournament last year, and obviously, if you see the difference year to year that teams can have, but they're the kind of same thing. They're a young team. They play really fast, and then they play really good hard man-to-man defense. So not looking too far ahead, but we know that that's the next one up if we can get by faith, and it's going to take everything. And I think the games this year have kind of prepped us up for that. I look at our Lavo game. I know that was a loss for us. We, played close to them, and they were able to extend their lead and kind of put it away. But I feel like we learned from that, and that Cooperstown will play very similarly, just trying to push the ball quickly and in your face defense, and they shoot it well. And that experience from the Lavo game, even after a loss, we can learn from that and apply that to that game. And anything can happen when you get to the sectional time. So it's just kind of exciting. And, Cooperstown's a great team and their coach is a great coach. And, if we get that opportunity, we're just going to give everything we got and go down and have some fun, hopefully.
Awesome, Zach. Thanks, man. We really appreciate you joining us here on this show with Tyler and I. And we really will be pulling for you guys as we always do with all the Frontier League teams. So, again, appreciate you joining us. Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Beaver River, I'm really intrigued by this team. 15-4, the record indicates that they're better than a 9 seed. And then, how far can Cade Schneider bring them down? That's going to be, you don't want to pick out one player because I've always believed that success in the postseason is won through role players, is won through a collective team getting hot at the right time, not just one star player. But that being said, Cade Schneider does have the star power to really to bring a team and bring some wins home.
Yeah, he's a terrific athlete, three-sport athlete, really good football player. We got to see him this year on the gridiron, great quarterback. But also just a kind of a track star, runs up and down the court, really talented player, can shoot, can score, can pass. And that's one of the things that really impressed me about this Beaver River team is how versatile they were offensively. He got a lot of the credit this year for breaking the scoring record, rightfully so, 45-year-old record. I mean, that's pretty incredible to do. But he's just part of that offense, just one of those pieces. They've got a couple other guys, Rice, Matt Moore, can really score the basketball as well. So it'll be how well they could gel together. They've done that really well this season. But, yeah, when they need one in crunch time, it's going to be Cade with the basketball.
Yeah, let's continue to move down this bracket here. It's a big one. We have Frankfort Schuyler. They're going to get that first round bye. We talked about that matchup. They're going to have to take on the winner of the 13 and the 20 seed, but they get a first round bye. Also, pretty much everyone else in the rest of this bracket is going to get that first round bye. The 5th seed ended up being Hamilton at 15-6, Tully at 17-2. That's a darn good year to end up with only the 2 seed. I mean, it's just bad luck having Cooperstown being the number 1 seed at undefeated record and widely considered the team that's going to take home a championship. So Tully at 17-2. They have the 2 seed. They will host their first game of the 24th. Cato Meridian at 14-6 ended up with the 7 seed with a first round bye. Waterville will end up with the 3 seed at 16-4. And then in the 6th seed will be at 16-4, Oriskany. They will play their first matchup on the 24th at 7 o'clock, and obviously they're going to host the winner there. So that's the Class C bracket. That's a lot of teams to be put into one. That's a busy bracket. But a lot of good action is going to be played there in Class C. I think Beaver River has the best odds to make a run here out of the Frontier League. But looking at the bracket as well, you're going to have at least a couple teams, Frontier League, making to the second round. You have Sandy Creek and South Louis together. They're playing head-to-head, so they're going to move forward as well. So some local teams could be making some noise here in Class C.
Absolutely, and that's what we really like to see. Get the local teams have a chance to make a run and maybe make some magic happen here in the section. We sometimes will pick a winner, sometimes we won't. This one,
I'm not a betting man,
Yeah.
but I like Cooperstown here. They've shown all year long that they're the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, it's tough to bet against any team that's undefeated. But that being said, you get further and further, and you haven't lost a game. That does start to maybe wear on your mind just a little bit. That pressure starts to build as you continue to extend that unbeaten run. So definitely one to watch out for. Cooperstown, Tully, like you said, having a great year, 17-2, end up with a 2 seed in the section.
That's a bummer.
That's a hard break, but chances are they'll handle that in stride and move on from there.
You definitely don't want to count Tully out. I mean, at 17-2, they've definitely earned their keep there, and they're going to be a tough out for Cooperstown. But Cooperstown, 19-0. I mean, what a fantastic year! Really, I mean, for Frontier League and Section 3 Class C here. A lot of Frontier League teams, at least representing here in the postseason play. We love to see that. Go out and support these kids. Go online, find the matchups, find out when they're playing. A lot of the Frontier League teams will be playing tonight because there's so many games. They have to get a quick turnaround to get into that second round. So go out and support these kids. They've earned it. They've worked hard all year long. Something that we always want to impress upon everyone watching here at NBC Watertown. Even though we do live stream it, we want you to watch our live streams. Please, we would much rather you go to the games, create a good environment for these kids. That's what it's really all about here. And it doesn't get any better than this, right? This is winner go home play.
Absolutely.
This is the Class C, Section 3, Rob Johnson bracket breakdown here at NBC Watertown. We're going to do a breakdown for every one of the classes and for boys and for girls. So watch more of the videos here. Stay tuned on our Facebook and our YouTube page. Well, there's C.